Welcome back to Leadership Blueprints, everybody. I'm your host, BJ Kramer, and we are digging into two topics near and dear to my heart. Business development and growth are always things that any business owner are challenged with. And as a small business owner, the idea of fractional support around business development and growth is near and dear because, let's face it, I'm always trying to get a deal and squeeze a little more ROI out of my investments. So, Krystn, let's talk about what a fractional win officer is.
Yeah. So a lot of our clients, are small business and they're growing quickly. Maybe they've hired a proposal person or marketing person. So they've got that kind of covered in-house, the tactical element of it, but they need some strategic guidance and just to make sure that they're moving in the right direction, pursuing the right work, looking at the right target customers, doing all the right things from a strategic standpoint. And so that fractional win officer, it's actually a new offering that we started, I think, earlier this year. So it's meant to provide kind of a lighter touch in terms of like doing the work, but it's more advisory, guiding, coaching, just helping make sure that, clients are moving in the right direction. And a lot of them aren't at the place where they can hire a very expensive price tag CGO or, that kind of role. They're just not quite there yet. It's kind of our goal is to kind of be that bridge between them being ready for that big in-house leadership role to being able to outsource some of that to their consulting team, which is us.
Who is the ideal buyer of that service? And I don't just mean size. I mean, what is the problem set that they are feeling right now? And maybe this is going to be a live pitch to me. That you're like, okay, I can help you. And what, and maybe more importantly, what is the problem set that you're like, I'm not even going to try to help you? Because I probably fall in the latter category.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to evaluate you and see. We'll evaluate live on the air.
Yeah.
What more fun can that be? I think the problem set is, again, a lot of small businesses, we do mostly government contracting. So whether it's federal or state and local, and there's a lot of activity happening. Like they've pulled, opportunities down from whatever portal they're looking at. If it's Fed, obviously it's sam.gov, it's state and local, whatever. There's a lot of activity. They're pursuing work. They're going to conferences. They're doing all the things, but it's not in a very strategic, proactive way. It's very reactive. It's, this opportunity hit on the internet. It's a cold RFP. We can do we have those capabilities. We should pursue that. And as we all know, like you can win 1 in every 10 of those, maybe, you can get lucky from time to time, but you need a strategy. You need to have a North Star for where you're going as an organization and know who a good customer is for you. And just have that strategic roadmap that you're working towards as an organization to get from point A to point B. Maybe you've made it to 5 million, but to get to 10, 20, 30, 40 more millions, you've got to have a strategic roadmap. And so we help put that kind of strategy in place, instill the muscle, just the strategic thinking behind the tactical decisions that they're making. So that's often the problem that we're solving. And then on the flip side, for the ones that I'm like, oh no, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I think it's interesting working in the consulting world now. So I spent 17 years in-house, for major global AEC firms, and then started this business 5 years ago. So I've seen, both worlds, and sometimes people hire us as consultants, but expect us to be employees and expect, immediate replies or just for us to like open doors to the government for them without them doing the hard work, themselves. And I always say like, we can do all these things for you, but it's still your business. Like you have to be invested in the process. And it's not just, you can't just hire a consultant and, millions of more dollars of revenue show up. Like that's the result. Yes. But there's a lot of hard work that you as the business have to do and your people have to do. You've got to build the relationships with your customers. So That's always a red flag for me when it feels like they're just looking for an easy button, that someone somewhere said go hire a consultant and you'll grow double, you'll double in size. And it's like, well, yes, but there's some things that you got to do along the way.
So I hear strategy and I'm like, ah, she's going to try and make me more focused than I want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that to me is the business development curse. When you're a business developer, it's like the answer is always, hey, maybe. And the answer is always, I think we could win this. So how does a strategy help focus people so that, to your point, when you're doing the work, you're getting higher ROI out of the work that you're doing versus keeping yourself really busy trying to do all the activities and trying to be diversified and trying not to miss out on an opportunity? There's strategic and focus is like, I have to say no to things. And I'm
Yeah.
a small business
Scary.
and I don't want to say no to anything.
I
How
know.
do you help guide, we'll say, guys and gals like me that are like, I can't say no to that. But what if that's the one game-changing opportunity? And
I
I say
know.
that having grown up in it, having grown up as a kind of a tactical business developer into a business owner, and now trying to coach my business unit leaders and our project managers, like, we cannot do it all. So let's get really, really focused on what we can do.
Yeah. The FOMO is real. I mean, I'm a small business owner too, and I have to preach what I say, and it's hard. So I'm not perfect at it either. No, I don't think anyone is. But you said a couple keywords that I want to hit on. Diversify. So look at what happened last year on the federal landscape with DOGE coming in, and we had several clients that got impacted severely, and others in the industry I know, because they weren't diversified. They had all their eggs in one basket. And overnight, they lost lots of contracts and lots of revenue. So that's why a strategy is important, and a strategy for like 5 years down the road for the what if, if this worst case scenario happens to our current client base, contracts, revenue, whatever. What's our plan? Where do we go from there? And so I think that's a big piece of strategy. It's looking at, those kinds of scenarios and having a plan for that. And sometimes it means, like we had several clients last year diversify from just being all federal focused to, hey, let's look at state and local. Let's diversify our customer base so that if federal dries up or vice versa, you've got some other avenue paths. So that's one thing. And then the second thing you said is burnout. I think, I've worked in and with organizations where there is no strategy and it feels chaotic all the time, and your people feel that. And so the burnout is real. Like if your people are constantly just being, oh, let's go over this way. Let's do this for a while. Oh, no, no, no. We changed our mind. Let's go over this way. Like that reactive kind of strategy just is exhausting for people. And so you lose good people that are doing good work for you because you haven't been able to clearly define where you're going. And I think a lot of people think strategy has to mean this like big binder of stuff, and it sits on a shelf. You spend thousands of dollars to develop it, and then it sits on a shelf. But what I'm saying about strategy is it's a living document. It should change. It should change often. Like we run, so my business, I run it on EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. So
We're
we
big
work
fans of that.
yeah, so we work in 90-day increments, and that's we take that practice with our clients too. We work in 90-day sprints because in 3 months the whole world may have changed,
Right.
especially these days. So it's not this big thing that like has to be static and forever. Like it should evolve and change, but you've got to know where you're going as an organization. Otherwise, you've got BD doing one thing, you've got marketing saying another thing. Your proposal team is just trying to survive and keep up because there's so much activity, but no real ROI. So that's what I mean when I say strategy. It doesn't have to be a big, scary thing. It's okay, BJ. We'll be fine.
I have here your summit win system is a 5 peak framework: plan, position, propose, persuade, propel.
Yep.
I great marketing. I love alliteration.
Me too.
Um, one of the big topics right now is AI, and AI is coming for every marketer's job. The fear mongering that out there.
Oh yeah.
Um, you're not just you're doing this for a lot of people, and
Mhm.
I think that anybody that is using AI is trying to figure out how do I make this not just how does this make me more efficient, but how does this make me more effective?
Yep.
And I think that there's all over the spectrum opinions on totally anti AI to AI can replace my entire business development machine and my proposal writers and all this.
Uh-huh.
How are you seeing best practices around AI implementation in the marketing and business development world?
That also changes every day too. I mean, I think it's evolving, and I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, I love AI. I'm using it often for lots of things in my business and for our clients. But I don't think we're not there where it's replacing us. So I don't have that sort of fear. I do have a strong opinion about the companies that have built AI tools that's their whole messaging. We're going to replace proposal teams, and it's like, okay, I've seen the output of a lot of these AI tools. Like, we've used a lot of them, we've tested a lot of them, and the output is not good. Like, it's rough, and it's just a bunch of vanilla sentences strung together that like sound good, but there's no nuance, there's no strategy, to use that big word again. There's no reason why the customer should choose you in that proposal. And we know a proposal has to be a persuasive sales document. So I think we're still very early on. There's lots of, I mean, every day there's a new tool that pops up, and especially I get hit up in my DMs. I've just started a new AI company. We're going to save your whole life, and it's like, I'm good. Like, we're good. But I think it's an important thing to pay attention to and to test. And in terms of your question about like where it fits, I think there's lots of avenues to use it. We can use it to do some of that manual, tedious work that like took forever to do. I mean, sometimes I use it for just like looking through documents to build my acronym library at the end of a proposal, like that kind of stuff that like that's not fun for anyone to do. So those kinds of things. But to write proposals and to like tell that story of why the customer should choose you in that proposal, we're just not there yet. So there's lots of caution to be had, but also lots of fun to explore and see where it fits with you. And I think most importantly, get your process down. Like, get your sales process, your BD process, whatever you want to call it, figured out, and then like pull in AI for some of the smart ways and smart pieces along the way. Don't just think it's going to replace everything and again like hit the easy button. Like, there's no easy button in life. Like, there's no easy button for anything that we do. It's all hard work that takes time.
Let's dig into no easy button. You are a former Division One athlete. You said you were 17 years corporate, and then you went out on your own. 5 years into the business, building a business, starting a business. Uh, Big, scary, hard. How has it been? What are your lessons learned? Um, Share with us kind of that journey.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done. When I left corporate, I had made it up the chain and had a great career. But honestly, during the COVID pandemic, when I had to switch from being in office to working from home for the very first time, that happened. I got married. I turned 40 all at the same time. So I had like these big life things happening. And I was like, man, where am I going with my life? What am I doing? Is this making me happy? All those big, meaty, soul searching questions.
Midlife
Yeah,
questions.
midlife. Yeah. All the fun stuff. So anyways, I decided to just pull the trigger and do it. I had always wanted to start a business, never felt like I was ready, but hey, life is short. Do what you got to do. So I did it. And the first year was like a piece of cake, honestly. Like, it was, that first year was the easiest thing. Like, and I laugh when I say that because like we hit over 1 million in revenue in our very first year, which was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then it got real. Like, it got really hard after that. Like, that first year was like, oh, wow, this is so easy. And then it's like, no, let's bring you back to reality, Krystn. That's what the universe said. So the next couple of years were really hard. I made a lot of mistakes. You know, no one teaches you how to grow and build a business from scratch. There's no playbook. I mean, there's books out there, but they don't. Some of it applies, some of it doesn't. There's no manual. You just figure it out along the way. So it's been a roller coaster. It's been up, it's been down. I still wouldn't trade it for the world. I'll never go back to work for anyone again. Like I love the being able to choose my own path and do it my way. But it's been hard. And I think the lesson is for more people to talk about the hard stuff. You know, I get so tired on LinkedIn and stuff, the highlight reel and like everyone's posting all the great stuff, which I do it too. But I've tried over the last probably 8 months to talk more about the real stuff and the hard stuff, because I feel like not enough people do that. Because I think it would help if there were more open forums and conversations about things like what to do when you've hired for the wrong role for where you are as a business, because some playbook said that you needed this role on your leadership team, but you weren't ready for it as a business. So I made that mistake. Like I've made all the mistakes. And what happens when you have to make big investments in a year and you're not profitable? Like how does that impact your personal finances? Like there's so many things I've learned along the way that I just think not a lot of people talk about.
Yeah. I agree. And I'm going to quote one of your posts from this week. Things I've done this week as a business owner. Sent the same email 3 times in slightly different tones. Said, quote, just bumping this up, quote, end quote. So often it's lost all meaning. Consider faking my own disappearance. Poured a Dr. Pepper. Forgot about it. Opened another one. Anyway, how's everyone else doing?
Yep.
I think that's the reality of kind of a hectic life and in a hectic world. How do you block your time? How do you create sanity in the day to day?
I suck at that. I'll be honest. It is really hard. I've tried a lot of different things. I tried to block certain days for deep work. My calendar just overtakes it. My inbox overtakes it sometimes. I started this new thing this year to block out a vision week every quarter, where just a week, no meetings, no anything. And the first one that I did was back in January, I think, or February maybe. And I rocked it. Like I got some really big projects done. My last one was last week and I failed completely. I was not inspired. I didn't know where to start. And then I lived in the day to day instead. And so I don't get it right all the time. So I think it's just trying different things that work for me and being okay with it when it doesn't work. Like I'll try again the next vision week in a quarter, and see if I'm inspired then. But which is hard for me because I'm really hard on myself and I'm a high achiever and I want to do everything and be everything and all the things all the time. My husband's always laughing at me and like, no, we can't do all those things at once. Like, no, we will. We're fine. We have that debate quite often in this house. But I think just being easy on yourself, like you don't have to have it all figured out, and that's okay. Which feels not good in the moment, but it's okay. Everything will be fine.
A question I'd love for maybe the junior marketers or business developers out there, or the project managers that are also trying to grow into business development, is like, what are the things that you've learned through both your career supporting large organizations and maybe even more as a small business supporting other small businesses? Like, what would you say to somebody who's like, I don't have all the time in the world to be the business developer, and because nobody does, right? We have to get work, we have to do work, we got to get paid, rinse and repeat. How do you help somebody say, like, you don't have to do all of the business development things? Lean into the ones that are most comfortable or that come most naturally. How do you help somebody figure that out?
Yeah, I think it's starting small to figure out one thing and work on that for a while and give yourself tangible goals to work towards. Like be clear about what you're trying to achieve, not that you just want to get into business development. Like what does that really mean? Why is that of importance to you and what piece of that is important? Business development is so broad, as we know. It could be client engagement, It could be more on the proposal side, like who knows? So I think being clear about your why and what you're trying to achieve. And then, get out of your comfort zone. The most times I've grown in my career have been when I signed up to do really scary things. Like I remember I took a job, probably one of my biggest leadership roles. I got promoted after being hired to run a small proposal team. They reorged and I got promoted to be in charge of 6 proposal centers, 25 people all overnight. And it's like, that was the most people I had ever had report to me. I had no idea. I had just become a manager probably a year before that. So I was still very young, and that was really scary. And I wasn't good at it. I was a terrible manager for a while because I didn't know what to do and I didn't know who I was as a manager. And I was like trying to keep I read books of like, don't become friends with your employees, and like keep strong boundaries. So I was like very militant and didn't have any personal interaction with my team. And it's like, I had someone quit on my team after a while, and she was like, "You're terrible to work for." And I was like, "Oh, shoot, like crap, I had to really think about that." So anyways, long story short, like stretch yourself and like say yes to opportunities that you don't know how to figure out yet, because that's where you grow. And like you may get knocked down and punched in the face a couple times, but you'll grow and learn. And that shaped how I am as a leader now and who I am. And so I think just being willing to say yes to those opportunities.
What made you willing to say yes to those opportunities?
Oh, like I mentioned, I'm a high achiever, overachiever. I like to say yes to things. I honestly, in the moment, it was probably like, oh, this is a big girl job. Like, yes, I want to be in charge of all these people, like, yes, this is exciting. Yes, I want that salary. So it's probably very selfish in the moment. But looking back on it, it was very important to build my leadership skills, because that has come in handy, obviously, throughout my career and roles, even not just related to managing people, but managing projects and managing process and all those things. So I think I don't know, I said yes because I felt like I wanted to. I mean, it was a good opportunity.
I guess I'm thinking of it more from like when you incentivize somebody to take a little bit of a risk or to stretch, it's like, all right, at least there's a carrot. But similar to investing in a chief growth officer or a fractional, it's like I'm investing for something bigger on the back end of it. And I'm going to use this as an example because you said we should talk about our failures. I spoke at a banquet last night I'm on a board, and it's a swim club, and I have a rule that anytime anybody asks me to speak that is within certain mission parameters, not anybody listening, I'm not going to speak anywhere, but if I'm available, I'm saying yes. And I've done close to 300 podcasts. I've spoken on stages everywhere. To this day, I hate the lead up to public speaking. And last night, I failed.
Yeah.
Other people tell me that, like, no, it wasn't that bad. But like, I know my standard for myself, and my delivery was so off. And I'm like, and I'm talking to kids about, getting back up after you fail. So like this morning, I'm talking to my wife, and I'm like, I got to, practice what you preach. But I was like, why did I do that to myself? And I had prepared, but technology didn't work. And in the Army, it's like you always have to have a plan. But I lost my slides, and I all of a sudden was like,
that's stressful. That's happened to me
mentally,
before.
I just lost my safety net.
And
I'm talking to kids who are not the population I'm used to connecting with. So I need the pictures to connect with these kids. My point is I just created that rule that I know public speaking is scary, but that is an area, because it's scary, I'm always going to stretch myself. If it's aligned with something mission oriented. Business development, when I first started, I'm like, everybody tells me you got to get comfortable with business development. I don't like schmoozing, and some people might think that comes naturally to me. It does not. It was just putting myself in those areas and well, let's what can I talk to this person about? And what do I even talk about? And do I talk about personal stuff or business? And it's just putting yourself in those environments. And I guess the conversation is really, how do we encourage people to do that with knowing that like that is where the growth happens, and somebody shouldn't have to incentivize you to do that. The incentive is you're going to grow from that.
Hmm. Yeah, my favorite quote is, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. I forget where that comes from, but that's one of my favorites. I don't know. I like to grow and I like to be better and I like to be good at everything. And so putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations helps you just build up that confidence and those skills in something. And you may not even know in the moment what that's going to lead to down the road. I mean, looking back, I could point to so many different situations that happened in my career that have now helped me run a business. And I didn't know in the moment 20 years ago that I was going to be a business owner. So I think just having that blind faith in yourself and that confidence in yourself that whatever in the moment is uncomfortable and stretching you, say yes to that, because you don't even know where that's going to go down the road. And that may take a long time for it to present itself, but it will, and you'll be better for it.
Yeah, we're recording this in May and June, and like this time of year, I always go back to the Steve Jobs Stanford commencement
Yep.
speech. He says like you have no idea how the dots are going to connect forward, but when you look back, the dots
Yep. You'll
always
see.
connect. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep.
You hit a favorite quote. Do you have any favorite books in your library?
Oh, good question. Uh, Lots of them. I love the EOS series. That's been super helpful for me from a business standpoint. I'm a sports nerd, so I love like the coach. I grew up in North Carolina, so the Coach K books about him and his leadership style.
You grew up in
And
North
then,
Carolina, and you're a Duke fan, not a UNC
I'm
fan.
I'm the correct color of blue. Yes.
Coach K went to West Point, so
Okay. Yeah, you're good. We're good.
he's my
Your
guy.
your shirt is a little Carolina blue,
It
though.
is. You're
So
right.
yeah,
You're right.
we'll have to fix that. We'll work on that. And then last year, I read the book Let Them by Mel Robbins, I think.
Yeah.
So that was good. I don't do a very good job. My husband, he has fun with me. Sometimes we'll be driving. I'm an East Coast driver, so I have a little bit of road rage in me, just constantly simmering there. And so someone will pull out in front of me, and I'll get all feisty, and he'll be like, "Just let them, babe. Just let them." And it's like, no, I don't want to let them. But I think that the principle behind that is good. Just let people be who they are, do what they do. Don't let it affect you. So that's something I'm working on, just letting them.
It is a good mantra.
Oh,
If you could have dinner with 3 people dead or alive, who would they be?
oh gosh. Those questions are always so hard because I got to rack my brain of who. I think Coach K would be one of them. That'd be awesome. That'd be super cool. Um, I think my grandma, actually, like, she was a big piece of growing up, and we lost her to Alzheimer's and that whole situation. So that was rough. I would probably, I don't know if this is possible. I would probably pick my younger self.
Uh-huh. You're
Yeah,
not the first person to say that.
yeah, I think I never thought about it like that, but yeah, I think I would pick my younger self because, man, life was hard in some moments, and looking like you said, looking back, the dots all connect and you see the bigger picture of why. But in the moment, I had some tough times, and yeah, so I think my younger self, probably high school, middle school age, catch her right before some of the big life things happened, and yeah.
I don't know if I could tolerate my younger self at a dinner.
Yeah, I think there would be that too. It'd be a little rough.
Any guidance or whether it's leadership or encouragement to somebody that's like, hey, I'm doing this corporate thing, but I've always had this entrepreneurial itch. How does somebody make the leap?
Yeah. First of all, use your time in corporate wisely. Get experience with operations, finance, business development, team development, HR. Like get as much exposure as you can. I'm very lucky that my last 2 stops in corporate, I had an awesome leader as a boss that let me learn things that were outside of my purview, in my day to day. So I got to see operations and finance from a global business standpoint that has helped me run Summit. So that, and then second, just there's never going to be a perfect time. You're never going to feel ready. You have to just go. You just have to do it. Life is too short to not follow your dreams and to not do what you want to do. And you're going to fall 20 times, but you're going to get up every time and dust yourself off and learn something and grow. And you're going to be fine. But you just have to do it and have trust and faith in the universe and in yourself.
And then how about to close us out, any kind of, the target audience might be other BJ Kramers out there. We're running small, growing AEC firms. We're trying to figure it all out. We're trying to make the appropriate investments. Where would you tell us to start when it comes to even considering a chief or a fractional chief win officer, thinking through what our strategy is?
Get clear about where you're going as an organization. Like, I had a business coach early on that kept asking me, what is the business doing to serve you in your life? Like, where are you going and how does the business support you? So as a business owner, when I work with small business clients and we're working directly with the owner, that's always one of my first questions. Like, where are you taking your organization? Yeah, you're doing work. Yeah, you're winning work. Like, that's all great. But like, what's the bigger why behind why you're a business and where you're going? So get clear about that, because the more clarity you have on that for your organization, the better a fractional growth officer or whatever role you bring in can help support that. But you've got to have that. I call it the North Star. It's like the why, the what are you doing as an organization? Where are you going? Why does that matter for you? In EOS land, they call it the vision. So what is your vision for the organization? So spend some time getting clear on that. And I think that will help inform how a consultant or a new hire can help support that.
One last question. What is your favorite type of engagement?
Client, just it's a very simple answer. Like, clients that are great to work with and that have fun. This world is stressful. The industry is stressful. Deadlines are stressful, and we have some awesome clients that are just real people trying to figure it out along the way, and we have that trust and rapport together, and we laugh and have fun, and don't get too stressed out about things, because there's a lot of stress in the world, and life is short to work in more stressful environments than we need it. So I think my favorite engagement is with people that like to have fun and just like to keep it real and laugh and, have some laughs along the way.
Leaders, you should be listening. We can't be militant. People won't want to
don't
work
do
for
that.
us. But there's a fine line between focus and fun. And I think that we all have to be thinking through that a lot in the goals we take on, how we challenge our team, and how we interact with partners like Krystn. Krystn, thank you for taking the time to share your experience, your expertise, and your journey with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Hey, everybody, if you're enjoying the show, do us a favor, like, subscribe, or shoot it out on a text message. Maybe you know somebody that is in corporate and contemplating breaking out on their own, and Krystn's story can inspire them. Until next time, have a great week and a great weekend.